Good morning, everyone. We're the awesome people that woke up and got here early. So big hand, pat on the back.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Right. The world is run by those that show up. So showing up is more than half the battle, right? I also have here my colleague, Lerner. He runs Pythia, but he's also on the WTIA Cascadia Blockchain Council with me. And so we actually have several members in the group here in the audience, and so I'll point them out in just a moment. All right, the Cascadia Blockchain Council. I'm going to start off by telling you a little story of how it came to be, give you some pictures of what we've accomplished already in a short period of 3 months, and then talk to you about why it's important for all of us to be aware, because literally the journey for me over the last 6 months, excuse my language, it's literally been holy fucking shit. My jaw has just been dropping in this journey. I had no idea. And I've been an entrepreneur in the Seattle community for 10 years. I've another 10 years working in IT consulting, working for the Googles, Expedias, Microsofts, up and down the coast. I had no idea. So to me, it's had a huge impact. And the WTIA, amazing team. I had no idea that we had such a resource here in Seattle. So I'm here to share with you that story. So a little high level. Blockchain Council, we're here to do two things. We're here to educate and bring awareness to two main groups. One, investors. Investors are needed because they help bring in innovation to market. They give us the seed funding, the guidance, the networks, all of that strategy that you need as an entrepreneur. And then two, we're here to also educate and bring awareness to policymakers. And as a startup entrepreneur, I had no idea how much the policy world and the government world really affected us. And then, you start doing trips down to Olympia and you realize they just really don't know. And it's not because they're ignorant or they don't care. It's our responsibility to engage with them and help them understand why it's important to each one of us as business owners and entrepreneurs and people that work in the community. So that's what we're here to do. Council, let's come together. Humans, we like to work in our little silos. So we like to, me versus, you. Blockchain is about the network effect. And with blockchain, we really have the opportunity to bring people together and let's join forces and do it together with one voice. So again, change happens by those that show up. Here's an example. We kicked off the Blockchain Council in February of 2019, literally months ago. And remember Snowmageddon? Yeah, like all of that snow. Oh, remember the grocery shelves? They were like completely empty because all of Seattle was freaked out that the snow was coming. Snowmageddon, we had the council show up. I mean, these are the people that showed up to the first kickoff meeting on Snowmageddon. Snow, rain, or shine, I was just amazed at the show. And then we had another 20 people on the phone. So the commitment of the community already, and we'll have more and more of you hopefully join the council and the WTIA, but it matters. This is ours to lose as Washington, as Seattle, in terms of the opportunity around blockchain.
That's right. There is so much pent-up demand for blockchain, and we see it as founders, as entrepreneurs, and people don't recognize how much is going on in Washington. And Arry is going to hit those highlights, and you're going to hear from a lot of founders and others today.
Yeah, so this is the group. We're ready to go back into the snow and drive back home after the meeting, but it was just amazing. You can see, Tenta Browser, Lawrence is there, Stably, CryptoSlate, WTIA, even, the CEO of WTIA, Michael Schuster showed up, Joseph Williams, part of the government.
Governor's ICT sector lead.
Yeah, so it was just really, really touching. And we did kick off. And why did we kick off? So how did this start off? And Lawrence was part of this conversation earlier last year. After being in the blockchain world for a couple of years, you start to realize we're not all talking. Did you realize that one of the biggest crypto blockchain companies, exchanges, is right here in Seattle? Anyone know what that is? Bittrex.
All right.
Thank God.
At least we got an answer.
Some people don't know that. what's the last night we were talking about who has the biggest Twitter following that's in blockchain space today with 138,000 followers. My jaw dropped when I learned this last night. That's
Is
right.
Justin here?
Justin Wu, hackapreneur. Yeah. So we have a great opportunity here in Seattle, and we just need to come together and make it happen. So with that, we started and built the council and the steering committee. As you know, it's great to have an idea, but it's even better to have an idea with some resources behind it. And so we had several individuals, several companies step up and provide those resources. A lot of it is obviously being funded by the WTI, which we are very, very thankful for. And the reason is the WTI already has these resources. They already have the lobbyists. They already have these government experts that have the relationships on how to work with politics. Yeah,
they're the largest technology association in the country. And we didn't know, again, another unknown Washington fact, we had a ready-made turnkey organization to plug the council into.
Which literally cuts the resourcing cost, right? So if we were to set up an unaffiliated political action committee, which was the original idea back in May of 2018, the startup funding cost for just year one is about $500,000 at least, right? And so to go out and fundraise that, maybe many of you are entrepreneurs. It's a lot of work to go and raise a seed amount of funding and deploy it and run all the operations. Here we had a turnkey organization that was ready to go, that was willing to fund at least more than half of it. And so here we began. And we have a lot of new members that we've added over the past couple of months, and I'd love to talk to as many of you as possible to see how many more we can add to this great endeavor.
Could we get some of those people to stand up?
Oh, yeah. Anyone here? Lawrence?
I saw Vaughn.
Jesse Proudman.
I saw Nate.
Let's see. Joseph Williams, is he here? Chris Banton, T-Mobile. Mueller's out of town. Perkins Coie.
They'll be here later.
Tenta Browser, Microsoft, ArcBlock. So thank you, guys. Okay, so another recent story. Did you realize that there's a new bill? It's called the SB 5638, recognizing the validity of distributed ledger technology. You want to add some points?
It's a 4-page, or got cut down from a 4-page bill to a 2-page bill. The one-liner is you can use blockchain legally here in Washington State to store data and for signatures. And as of
yesterday, it passed the House committee. So here's the story. We all went down. 5 of us went down, and there's 3 others that were. We had so much energy of people willing to drive down with less than 24 hours notice to Olympia to testify in front of the House committee. And if you can actually watch it on the video, and so we can share the link if you're ever interested. But we're testifying one by one in front of the House committee, and most of these policymakers, they don't understand. They're looking at us very skeptically. You were watching on video, right? Yeah. Very skeptical. One guy said, "Well, what's the harm of not doing anything? Like, do you really need this? It's the same thing as DocuSign. Like, why do you even need this?" And we go, "Well, if you don't do this, it's a signal to the world that we're just not ready for this new technology wave. It's a signal that innovators and entrepreneurs and all this is going to leave Seattle."
It's a lost economic opportunity for the state. And the senators and representatives heard. They voted yesterday 9-0 to approve.
And it was bipartisan. It didn't matter what side of the House or you were sitting on. So I thought that was a really great experience. And it also is a testament to how much can be accomplished if you just show up. So if you ever have, Brock was down there too. Hey, Brock. So if you ever have a chance to go down and represent your company or your story to talk and engage with the policymakers, it makes a huge difference because they're bombarded with so many different lobbyists and people trying to push their messages through. And it's obvious that the Googles and the Microsofts and Amazons have the resources. But for the smaller guys, we're usually, tucked away in our own businesses, our startups. We forget. Oh, time. Okay. So Washington State, we have the opportunity to take a lead, right? Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done in the blockchain space. There's been a lot of hype around cryptocurrencies and protocols and blockchains, but there's a lot of meta work that needs to be done. How are we going to work industry to industry, city to city, country to country? A lot of these standards, these policies, this regulation, governance, these are things that really need to happen and be worked on, but it takes all of us getting in a room and talking to each other. So wherever there is the opportunity for us to engage, please, please allow it to happen, and also, help join forces with the WTI, especially if you're in a fintech or blockchain company. I think it's very important for us as startups, entrepreneurs, investors to be very policy and government aware so that we can grow together with our state, our city, as they're also figuring this out too. It's the only way it's going to happen, where we all get to win together.
So we have time for one super quick question.
Okay.
The WTIA has a booth out there, and you can talk to them. And of course, the whole purpose of this conference is to network. So come talk to Lawrence and Arry afterwards. So one quick question from the audience. Anybody? Okay. Well, they'll be right out front. So Arry, what's the question that you have for them to talk to real quick?
Go.
What do you care about? What's your passion? What do you want to make happen? Bring it to the council. Bring it to WTIA.